Are your migraines really triggered by food? Migraines are commonly thought to be triggered by our diets, and in particular, certain foods. Red wine and chocolate are widely held to be among the worst offenders. However, the American Migraine Foundation, AMF, says that no specific food has ever been conclusively proven to be a migraine trigger. The misinformation surrounding migraines has been repeated for decades, resulting in some food being vilified and other possible triggers being ignored. Here are 5 startling revelations about migraines, triggers and food. 1. Common offenders. Along with red wine and chocolate, the food additive aspartame is another item on the worst offenders list. While aspartame has strident detractors in general, there are no studies showing that it's a migraine trigger. It's the same for processed meats like bacon and salami. What studies do show is that a whole variety of foods and food substances can be blamed for migraines, suggesting strongly that the causes of migraines are highly individual. Take red wine for example. Most of the data is based on foods that patients voluntarily report. Many say they can safely drink red wine but not colored liquor like whiskey. Keep a detailed lifestyle diary to figure out what your triggers are. 2. Restricted diet. The AMF clearly states that there is a lack of high-quality research linking foods conclusively to migraines. But the idea took root in popular imagination years ago, and there now you can several migraine-friendly diets. If they're shared by a fellow migraine sufferer, the diet most likely contains their trigger foods. If you're asked to pay for any of these, don't. It's a scam, pure and simple. There is no reason to restrict your diet except if you know for sure that a certain food causes you migraines. Keep a good diet in general. It's not the healthiest choice to include processed meats in your meals every day. Since this is a neurological problem, perhaps you can look for foods that are beneficial for nerves, like purple fruits and vegetables. While food does play a part in managing migraines, there is no one list that fits everyone. There are, however, other common factors which get much less attention. 3. Dehydration. Just think of the last hangover you had. Remember that throbbing head, the dizziness and nausea? It may not have been a migraine, but it mirrors many of the symptoms. Depriving your cells of water has very palpable effects on the body, and dehydration is a known cause of migraines. The AMF says about 30% of Americans cite it as a known cause. The real number is probably much higher. Many people wouldn't have allowed themselves to get dehydrated enough to cause a migraine. Just remember that it is a fairly common cause and keep to an intake of about 2 liters of water a day. 4. Light. We all know that when you have a migraine, you become extremely photosensitive. But light can also cause a migraine. Keep a diary to see if you are prone to bright lights, or a certain color of light causes you discomfort leading to a migraine. Track your movements in your home. It could very well be that an ordinary, everyday lamp that you use is one of the culprits. You may also want to think about getting blackout curtains for the bedroom. These literally block all the sun out, but do make sure that sunlight is indeed a trigger. Blackout curtains are an extreme measure. While they may be just the thing when you're actually having a migraine, on regular days, it can be very hard to wake up in the morning in a pitch-black room. 5. The weather. People with migraines need to take note of the weather. Temperature changes are also a fairly common cause. None of us can control the seasons, but what you can do is try and regulate the temperature around you. This will be a little difficult if you work in an office with centralized thermostats. But with such huge advances in technology, there may be a way for you to do a certain amount of work from home, where you can adjust the thermostat to a degree that's comfortable for you. Food gets the worst press when it comes to general knowledge about migraines. But knowing that there are other triggers, which affect people more uniformly, will help you look out for them and keep the terrible pain at bay.